Did you know that by 1760, South Carolina was producing millions of pounds of rice each year? So much that it became the backbone of the colony's entire economy. In this video, you're going to learn four things. One, how West African rice technology shaped the Carolinas. Two, the hidden economy of rice plantations and slavery. Three, how Henry Lawrence made a fortune trading enslaved Africans for their expertise. And lastly, four, the lasting impact of Black rice on American history. I'm Port City, coming right back at you with another deep dive into African history, culture, and greatness. Let's get into it. The last episode we talked about, the last episode we talked about the history of West African rice culture. That was in episode 1. I'm gonna do a little recap on that really quick so we can kind of refresh everybody up, get everybody up to par. Okay. So the name of this presentation, I got Black Labor, White Wealth, the cash crop. All right. So just a recap of what we talked about in the last episode, from West Africa to the Carolinas, the legacy of rice cultivation. Okay. So in last episode 1, I want to remind you guys, we got to go back to where the rice history came from. Okay. The technology and how to grew it. Early Europeans saw us doing this first. You can go back all the way to the 1400s. The Portuguese were the first group of Europeans that saw us doing our African thing. Okay. They rode in caravels alongside the African coast to witness exactly what was going on with us. Okay. So I just want to remind you guys that we was already doing this stuff in Africa. Okay. If you missed any of the highlights in episode 1, go ahead and make sure you look at the first episode 1 video. Okay. This is an image that they made of us growing rice in Africa. Okay. This is in Africa. This is not in America nowhere. Okay. These are Black women, because you can see, because there's children on the hips of these women. This is one of the most telling images that I've seen in a long time. So all of this stuff, just to remind you guys, we were doing it in Africa first. Africa had domesticated rice about 3,000 years ago. We learned on episode 1 that the name of that rice is Oryza glamourima. All right. So let's get on to it. Okay. We're going to talk about the money and how the hell did South Carolina become so wealthy off of the labor of Black rice? So I was doing some researching, and I came across a name that kept coming up in these history books and stuff. Lawrence. I kept seeing Lawrence, and I was wondering what's going on with this dude. Well, Henry Lawrence was a planter in Charleston, South Carolina. Okay. So Henry Lawrence, look him up. He was born in 1729 in Charleston. Lawrence was raised in an elite planter merchant class. So he grew up in this whole lifestyle of enslaving Africans and using them to do stuff for them. Okay. Using these Africans to produce crops. As a young man, he was sent to London in 1744 to apprentice under a merchant, where he had gained firsthand experience in finance and trade. All right. So he returned to Charleston in 1740 and entered the slave trading business, eventually becoming one of the colony's most influential merchants. Whenever you hear the word merchant, think of slave trade, especially in history. Okay. Now, by 1750, Lawrence formed a partnership, listen now, with Richard Oswald, a Scottish merchant, and later established this name. I need you to look at this name, Austin and Lawrence. Austin and Lawrence. This was Charleston's most powerful slave trading firm in the South. This firm specialized in importing enslaved Africans directly from the rice coast of modern day Senegal, Gambia, Sierra Leone, Liberia, and the Gold Coast of Ghana, Angola regions, where Africans had deep knowledge of rice cultivation. Now, here's an illustration of an advertisement. At the bottom, you're going to see Austin and Lawrence. just imported the hair, Captain Caleb Godfrey, directly from Sierra Leone, a cargo of likely healthy slaves to be sold upon early terms of Tuesday, the 29th, infant June. So these were crooks, man. This is what they was doing. Austin and Lorenz. So next time you see these slave advertisements, look at the bottom of it, and you might come across this, especially if it's out of the South Carolina Gazette. All right, here's another one. This one is out of the book Elizabeth Donan, Volume 4, Documents Illustrated of the Slave Trade. This is all in Charleston, to be sold on Wednesday, the 15th of this infant, October, in Jacksonboro, Pompon, about 200 very likely healthy Negroes of the same country as are usually bought from Gambia, being the entire cargo just arrived in the Snow Mali. William Dennison, commander from the Windward and Rice coasts of Guinea. There's the name again, Austin and Lorenz. They still have street names in Charleston this day. If you're ever in Charleston, if you see the word Lorenz, think about what I'm talking about today. On October the 20th, to be sold on Tuesday, the 28th, Dorchester, if I'm pronouncing these names right, a cargo of about 180 fine Guinea Negroes just imported off of the ship Betty. People talk about slave ships. They're all in these documents if you just read them. The captain of that ship was Kennedy, right? Sailed from the Windward Coast. Why did they need Africans from the Rice Coast? I wonder why they needed so many Africans from the Rice Coast of Guinea. Makes you say, Human trafficking, family. That's what's going on. Now, we got to talk about Charleston slaves market and the auctions. Okay, here's another illustration right here, to be sold on board of the ship Bance Island on Tuesday, the 6th of May. Next at Ashley's Ferry, a choice cargo of about 250 fine Negroes. Now look at this really closely. It says they just arrived from the Windward and Rice Coast. Why do they need Africans from the Rice Coast of West Africa, family? Okay. The utmost care has been already taken and shall be continued to keep them free from the less dangers of being infected with smallpox. So they was concerned about their cargo not getting sick. Shout out to the push in the chat. Shout out to Cream in the Crop. Everybody hit the like screen for me. If you guys are getting some type of value out of what y'all are hearing, please tap the like. But it says no boat having been on board and all other communications with people from Charlestown prevented. And there's that name again, Austin and Lorenz. This history is etched. Okay, we're talking about human trafficking. Between 1750 and 1765, Austin and Lorenz imported nearly 10,000 enslaved Africans to South Carolina, selling them to rice planters at premium prices. The Middle Passage voyage, funded by Lorenz, generated massive profits. He personally owned slave ships and invested in multiple voyages that brought Africans to Charleston. Now, the profit margin, because we got to talk about the money. We always got to follow the money. Lawrence and his firm typically bought enslaved Africans at 10 to 15 pounds a head, with prime Guinea and Gambia rice growers commanding even higher prices. So if they was able to traffic these Africans from a rice growing area, they yield high value, basically, in South Carolina. Charleston was North America's largest trading port in the 1700s. And the Lawrence Company played a central role in this. So when you look at these slave ads, make sure you look at the bottom of these slave ads, because it's going to tell you a lot of information. Okay. A lot. Enslaved Africans arrived at Gadsden's Wharf and the exchange building where Lawrence farms conducted large-scale auctions. You ever see an auction block? They still have these areas in Charleston right now. Lawrence advertisements in the newspapers like the South Carolina Gazette, because that's what we're looking at right now. The illustration on the right is from the South Carolina Gazette. Okay. It marketed African captives by their ethnic backgrounds. Here is another illustration from history. Okay, this is page 194 of the Documents Illustrated of Elizabeth Donan's book. Okay, and they have a whole section about South Carolina in it. And I was curious to look at page 194 in this book because this page, it talks about Negroes imported into South Carolina in the year 1756. And you see Austin and Lawrence names all on the side where it says firms. If you look at the far right column, the firm, if you look up, is they didn't play around when it comes to importing Africans here in these colonies. Okay. January 8th, I'm gonna say January the 20th, the vessel was Relief. The name of the vessel was Relief. We have a Captain Lightborn that came from Angola with a passenger amount of 140. And they got to Austin and Lawrence. Okay. You got Sierra. Look at the Rice Coast one on August the 4th. The ship name was the Concord from the Windward Coast, the Grain Coast. So they knew exactly what they were doing. At the bottom of here, there's a note that says the Gazette. This is the South Carolina newspaper. So that's why newspaper clippings are so important. This is the Gazette, December the 8th, 1759 gives 2,239 as the importation for that year of 1756, during which 14 cargoes were advertised. Lawrence names one of the vessels not in the Gazette and refers to unnamed and often unidentified arrivals. By June 12th, from 800 to 900 had been ordered to his house alone. Okay. Next, he grew a whole rice empire. It was a whole rice empire over here. We're gonna talk about that. If anybody, I don't know if you guys heard about this. This is me doing research. I didn't even know they had a Mepkin plantation in South Carolina, but this was the home of Henry Lawrence. Okay, look up Mepkin plantation, and that's a jewel for you guys. It says Lawrence Mepkin plantation near Monk's Corner was a massive rice producing estate worked by hundreds of enslaved Africans. His enslaved workforce dug canals, built levees, and developed intricate flood control system techniques identical to those used in West Africa. The enslaved laborers at Mepkins were subjected to the task system, meaning that they worked from sunup to sundown under grueling conditions, battling alligators, diseases, and exhaustion. Now, we got to talk about some of this labor right here. Now, in last episode, we talked about what is a rice trunk and how did the Africans come up with this tidal water irrigation system that you see here. Now, we talked in the last episode about how the Africans had to go out in the field and dig these massive rice trunks where they controlled the irrigation of the irrigation of water flow up under there. So the water would flow under there and they would control the levels of the water so that the crops can receive the certain amounts of water. And they had to make the water fresh because salt water can affect these crops in a negative way. So this was the labor and the skills that they had stole from West Africa so that they can try to reproduce that over here. This is some hard work. There's a lot of man hours that was involved in moving dirt around. All right. Lawrence profits depended directly on African rice growing techniques. The tidal irrigation system, Africans engineered water management dikes to flood and drain rice fields. They had to do pest control. Africans' method in controlling the weevils and birds were adopted in South Carolina. Planting techniques, Africans' methods of broadcasting and transplacing rice made plantations more efficient. Now, this all came with issues. Malaria, heat stroke, and overwork killed thousands. But Lawrence and other planters calculated that importing more Africans was cheaper than improving the conditions. So I want you to picture that mom, the same picture that you saw of the moms doing it in West Africa. Imagine they're over here now doing it in deep water. They're not feeding their families this time. They're feeding the demand of this crop that's in America under these harsh conditions. And you think Lawrence and Austin's give a fuck? No, they said we'll get more Africans. I don't care if they're perishing or not. Enslaved Africans on rice plantations had one of the highest mortality rates in North America, often living no more than 5 to 6 years under these conditions. That's sad. A lot of these burial sites have kids under there, young kids, young teenagers that didn't survive, all to build a cash crop. Now let's look at the financial breakdown real quick. The net worth and profits, right? In 1750, as a slave trader, Lawrence made 40 to 50,000 pounds annually, a multi-million-dollar equivalent today. In 1760, his rice plantations produced 100,000 pounds a year. This generated enormous wealth. And we talk about reparations like they don't exist. This is where the money went. All of that money that came out of the labor went in these white folks' pockets. So by 1770, the peak of his wealth, Lawrence was one of the richest men in the 13 colonies, owning a vast lands and hundreds of enslaved Africans. I have a typo in there, so I apologize. But today's wealth estimated adjusted with inflation, Lawrence holdings and trade profit would be $150 million to $200 million today. And they say, well, what do you mean reparations? All of the labor and stuff produced this cash crop, Carolina gold rice. And before we shut this down, I want you guys to remember this was on the backs of our women and kids. When you look at those original images and stuff, these are young women and toddlers almost having to produce a cash crop. It's insane. So if you found any value in this video, please hit the like. Please hit the share. This information is important. We need to be the custodians of our history, period. Point blank. You know, now, if you guys haven't heard about the Port City, right, Black Rice Tour that's going down in May, I suggest you guys go ahead and do that. If you got any value out of this video, go ahead and hit the like. Okay. And if you guys want any more information pertaining to this stuff, you can become a member, and I do special teachings, of course, with those. For those who have signed up for the Black Rice Tour, I appreciate it. Thank you guys. We still got some seats remaining. I have to call the shuttle people to make sure we still got that week in May. During this rice tour, we're going to go to Charleston. We're going to go to the African History Museum, and we're going to see all of this stuff. So I invite you guys all to make sure you guys come. I got the link down there. You'll see it. Okay. It's the Black Rice Port City Black Rice Tour. Okay. First week. And we're going to do this. I'm going to try to do at least 1 or 2 every month, depending on how many seats I can get filled. So we still have a couple of people that has signed up. On this trip, you're going to go to the museum. We're going to meet at the museum. Hey, Tabitha, shout out for my member. Tabitha became a member. But yeah, we're going to go to the rice plantation. We're going to go to the museum first, the African American International Museum that's in Charleston, right? That's where we're going to link up at. Once we get there, we're going to tour that facility. And then after that, we're going to meet outside. And then I'm going to have a shuttle ready to take us straight to those rice fields so we can see firsthand exactly what this looked like. So we can actually see what a rice field looks like, see what's going on. This is all in Charleston. And it's by the Stoner Rebellion too. So a lot of that history is there as well. So I appreciate you guys. If you're looking out for it, I'm still working on it. So just let me know in the comment section or whatever. And like I said, if you got any value out of today's presentation, go ahead and click that like. I ain't gonna be in here long. I ain't gonna be in here that long. I just wanted to say what's up. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody that showed up. I appreciate it. But make sure you look at episode 1 so you can understand exactly the history of the domestication, because we talked about that in episode 1. All right. Any questions down there in the chat? Go ahead and hit me with something if y'all want to know. Sham. I'm gonna do a super chat out here for y'all. Sham. Damn. My bad. Yeah, let me know what's up. Let me know what's up. Yeah, if y'all got any questions, let me know. I'll be on here for a little bit. Thank you guys for liking. Make sure y'all hit the like. Yeah. But if you guys are cool, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it at that. I wanted to get this episode 2 out the way. Like I said, in the future, we're gonna do the rice tour. If I can get the seats filled, we're going. If I have issues getting y'all signed up, y'all getting y'all money back because I ain't gonna do y'all like that. But right now we're just waiting on the seats to get filled. And I'm gonna communicate with the tour facility to see if they can get us there safely. You don't want to be driving around Charlotte. You know, sometimes them cops is funny over there. Rice in the head. That's right. Yeah, rice in the head. If I don't know if y'all saw that video, but yeah, rice was in the hair. There's a indigenous maroon colony that's in Suriname. And yeah, this video right here. Yeah. In this video right here, how black rice made it to the Americas. There's a video of a mom showing and demonstrating this. I'm not going to play that video because I ain't want to get a little strike and stuff, but you can see that video in episode 1. If you want to watch the video of the black mother showing everybody how she was taught this and where did it come from. They asked the lady, well, where did it come from? Where did you learn this from? Africa is what she said. Africa. So that part. And on top of that, they have West African rice that they found over here. Okay. Yes, rice was okay. Come on up here if you want to come up here. We can do this. Who's that in the chat? I talked about, you must be late to class. I'm not talking about American wild rice. American rice is called zizania. I don't know if you knew that or not. I'm talking about West African Oryza glamourima that was found in Suriname. Look it up. Look that up. Peace to the chat. What's up, everybody? Peace to everybody. Shout out to everybody. But yeah, you got three different strains of rice. The American rice that you talking about, he says rice was already here, right? Rice was already here, but y'all ain't domesticate no rice here. Where are the domesticated rice that was here? You don't got that. Where was that shit that we was doing in Africa? You don't see that over here. You have zizania. That's wild rice. Grew up in Lake Michigan. That means y'all, excuse me, man, my damn nose ran. But that means y'all was in canoes and then y'all shipped the rice in the canoe. That was it. It wasn't domesticated. It wasn't. You did not domesticate rice over here. Africans taught you guys how to do that. And that's what's up. So you had zizania. That's the genetic form of it. Zizania rice. And then you had Oryza glamourima. Oryza glamourima was domesticated in Africa about 3,000 years ago. If you was in class, you would have learned that. But a lot of you guys make these outlandish comments and stuff. I told y'all to meet me over here and I got you. I'll teach you. I will teach you. I will show you the way. Just say, hey, teach me. Show me the way, sir. And I got you. That's on real. That's on the real. Hey, shout out to you too, man. Shout out to you. Hey, shout out to everybody that showed up today. I appreciate this stuff. We're gonna learn some stuff over here. We're gonna learn the real. If you tired of looking at people lying about history, saying that we was already here first, y'all need to come over here to Death Row. That's what I used to say. Come over here to the Adjustment Syndicate and let us teach you guys and show you guys the real way. Because you guys saying that rice was already here. Did you domesticate the rice here? No, y'all didn't. Africans had to teach y'all how to domesticate rice. Because the rice that you talking about ain't on the plates. We don't eat that shit. You either eat two strains of rice. You eat the Oriza glamourima, West African rice, or you eat the Oriza stativa, the Asian rice. And that's the dominant rice that everybody's eating right now. So what is you talking about? Exactly. If you don't know stuff, don't be saying stuff. Silly in the comment section, y'all. But like for the real students, shout out to the real people who like to learn real history and haven't lost the African mind and all that good stuff. Are there any questions in the chat pertaining West African rice and how they got over here before I wrap this thing up? Let me know. Let me know. Yeah, we're going to push the push. Yeah, come on over here. You guys are all welcome. If anybody got a problem with what I say or how I'm teaching my course over here, you are more than welcome to come up and set a time and date and debate us. I just got off of TikTok earlier. You know what I'm saying? If you guys want to smoke, this is the smoking section. I invite anybody who got smoke and got any proof, because over here we show receipts, just like I showed you guys. We got receipts over here. If you guys are looking for the slave ships, we got them. Okay? That's it. I'm tired of the misinformation and the disinformation that's going on. A lot of these kids are picking up these phones for the first time and seeing this nonsense. Nonsense like the slave trade ain't happened, it happened in reverse. Nonsense like we were here since Pangea, knowing Pangea existed 200 million years ago when humans did not walk the earth. We hear silly stuff all the time. And there's some going on in our community where we're becoming a little bit scientifically literate to stuff that we should know. We should not be in 2025 and as a community lagging with information. There's so much resources out here for us to learn. And, you know, that's what we need to do. We need to start elevating our consciousness, you know. But yeah, it's crazy. Crazy. But yeah, if you guys got value out of it, go ahead and hit that like button. I'm going to plan my next episode. We're still talking about rice, but I'm going to switch gears a little bit. I want to talk about DNA a little bit. It's about that time. We're going to talk about DNA. Ancient DNA, whether it's copper colored or not. A lot of people think that we've been over here the whole time, which is silly. It's silly stuff. Just crazy. Yeah, folks are wild. But yeah, my next video, I'm trying to I'm gonna break down the DNA of the mound sites and maybe the Aztecs and the Olmecs and all that stuff. Let's talk about it. Let's get in there. And if any one of you hot glue fellas have a problem with Port City, address me like a man and put your concerns in the chat and set up a date and time, and I will meet you in the ring of truth and stand on minds any day. All right. So with that being said, I'm gonna wrap this thing up. I will talk black at you soon. Make sure before you leave, hit the like button. If you like this type of information, why don't you go ahead and become a member? All right. It helps me out. These books that you see here aren't cheap. So I appreciate every Cash App. I appreciate all of the members. Shout out to Tabitha. Me and her talked last night. Shout out to everybody that has been supporting over here and the syndicate. We work hard at trying to get this information out to everybody. So with that being said, hey, it's all good. Catch the replay. Y'all are late, man. It's okay. Damn, I'm always like, hey, catch the replay and set your notifications. People aren't setting their, this ain't TikTok, yo, this YouTube. Y'all got to come over here and literally set this shit up for yourselves. Hey, notify me when Port City go on, because you know Port City got those receipts. You understand? We are the adjustment syndicate. Over here, we don't play around. So make sure you set those notifications up. And when the family got some information to put out here, we're gonna put all of that stuff out here because we like receipts and we like to stand on truth. Yeah, if y'all want the push, please come get it. We are open all the time. This is an open door policy. So if you got any things you got a problem with, just let us know. And I'm serious. This ain't nothing like, I ain't trying to be funny, but like, let's talk about it. Like, let's really talk about it. But don't get on here and make all of this crazy allegations and shit. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, got you on the big screen. Shout out to Sean P. Make sure y'all follow Sean in the Mossy Warrior Tribe. That's another, y'all don't want his ass on TikTok. He'll kill all y'all. But yeah, if you guys have issues with what I'm saying, debate me. That's all you got to do. Hey, Port City, I think we were here before. I think we sprung up out the ground, and I don't like what you're saying. I don't think DNA is real. I think it's for entertainment. Put your concerns in the chat and set up a time and date, because I handle my shit like this. All of my debates are on YouTube. All of my arguments are on TikTok because I argue with fools over there. And I'm sick of it. I should have listened to Sean. Sean, you told me a long time ago, don't fool with them fools. I should have listened, but I'm back now. Yeah, totally. Again, the link for the Black Rice Tour is you should see it under the shop. When you look at the shop, it'll have Port City Black Rice Tour. Make sure y'all click that link. Okay, click that link, and it'll talk to you about the tour and what the tour is about. This tour is gonna start the first week of May. If I don't fill up those seats, don't worry, y'all gonna get y'all money back. But if we got the seats filled, we gonna go take this trip. Regardless, I'm gonna be there. I just need y'all to be there. If y'all want to be there, cool. If not, it's okay with me. It don't make me no never mind. But I want to share this history with all y'all. I feel like we need to know about our African history. I'm so sick and tired of this disinformation, misinformation. People don't even know there's an African History Museum in Charleston. Period. It's nice. Now, it ain't like the Blackstonian one in DC. You know, I'm from DC, so I love that joint. But you know, they got a lot of history. A lot of people don't know that these rice fields are still out here. You know, so these are our ancestors screaming at us, hey, come look at this history so that you can be a part of it. I already talked to the people that's down there. They can accommodate us. Okay. I talked to the restaurant owner. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. We're gonna get something to eat too. After the trip, after we go to the museum at the African American Museum, right? The international one in Charleston. We're gonna go to the rice fields. And after that, we're gonna go get something to eat. Get some of that Gullah Geechee good rice food. Okay. I talked to some ladies down there, man. They own this one restaurant, nothing but sisters in the kitchen cooking. I said, this is where we need to be. I said, can you accommodate 30 people? She said, hell yeah. I said, all right, I'm gonna put in this work. So this is me putting in this work. If you guys are serious about your history, sign up. If you guys are serious about learning some stuff, sign up and put down the phone. If you start hearing people saying that we was here all the time and they don't verify it with DNA or skeletal remains, you've been lied to. And you can either listen to the lie and continue to be fooled by it, or you can say, you know what, let me just stop and turn around and get this right information. It's okay if you walk down the wrong road. I've walked down the wrong road for a long time, but once I realize I'm lost, oh shit, I'm going the wrong way. What do I have to do? I have to turn around. I have to turn back around so I can go the right way. And that's what you guys need to do. That's going the wrong way. If you're going the wrong way, it's okay. Hey man, I used to be a pretendian, but you know what? I looked in those primaries and I used to not believe in DNA, but I took a DNA test and it revealed that I'm 75% nigga. You know, but no, seriously, it's okay to turn around and say, you know what? I was wrong. It takes a real man to do that, a woman to do that, to say, you know what? I was wrong. I had a fucked up state of belief. You know, I see the light now. And that's it. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Learning something new. Thank you to everybody that has hit the like on here. Thank you for all of the like donations and cash apps and stuff. And thank you for the members and stuff too. I'm going to be putting members only content out. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to Tabitha last night. I'm going to be putting out. So this is a little extra shit that y'all ain't going to get. I'm going to throw a little extra stuff for the members because, you know, they support me. So I'm going to have to support them with extra content that y'all ain't going to see unless you become a member. Okay. So if you guys want to hear good history, I suggest you guys become a member. But I'm still going to give you value regardless. So if you feel like you got any value out of this video, please like it and share it. If you don't become a member, it's all good. You're still going to get this push regardless. All right. So make sure you hit the notifications so you guys can get ready and don't be late for these courses again. What else? I can't think of nothing else. Make sure you follow my homeboy, Brother X, down there in the chat. Make sure y'all follow him. If I'm not on here, I'm usually on his live. All right. So make sure y'all look out for Brother X, Sutin. Okay. We all get our push in here together. All right. So if I'm there and if you guys want to set up an appointment to debate me or anybody on the syndicate, show up there and just put your issues in the chat and we will definitely get back with you because all we want is the smoke. That's it. Just a simple recap. Let me recap this thing real quick. Let's recap. Let's go over this stuff again. Whoa, that's not what I wanted to do. That's it. We're going to do a recap real quick. So in today's lesson of episode 2, we talked about the cash crop. The black labor produced the white wealth, right? This is from West Africa to the Carolinas. We talked about the ships that the Europeans had that saw us growing rice over here in the colonies. I'm sorry, over here in West Africa that came to the colonies. We talked about the illustrations that the Europeans made. These are illustrations made by Europeans on the coast of Africa, observing while we minding our African business. We learned about Henry Lawrence, one of the biggest slave traders of Charleston. We learned that he amassed immense amounts of wealth on the backbones of African people. We learned all about that. We also learned that if you look at these advertisements, you'll see his name right there. It says it. So this history is real. Okay, so when the next time you look at a slave advertisement, look at that name, especially if it came out of South Carolina. And there's like a 90% chance that you'll find Austin and Lorenz written all over these history receipts. All right, here's another receipt. These receipts come from advertisements from the South Carolina Gazette. And this particular one that you see here, the advertisement for enslaved Africans came from Elizabeth Donan's book, The Documents Illustrated of the Slave Trade. This is volume 4. There's a whole section about South Carolina in it. All right. We talked about the human trafficking. We talked about the imported slaves that Austin and Lorenz imported. Again, just to remind you, between 1750 and 1765, Austin and Lorenz imported nearly 10,000 enslaved Africans to South Carolina, selling them to rice planters at premium prices. Never forget, family. Never forget. This is the shit they want y'all to forget. All right. We got documents illustrating, right, of the Negroes imported into South Carolina, dated 1756 on page 194 of Elizabeth Donan's book, The Documents Illustrated of the Slave Trade. We have Austin and Lawrence names all over this shit. We also learned about, what do you call this? Mepkin's plantation. Mepkin's plantation, right? This is near Monk's Corner, right? It was a massive rice producing estate, right? They produced rice. They dug canals here. They built levees here, Africans. Okay. So what else? We learned about the tidal irrigational systems that Africans built here. Okay. Because they didn't have all of this. A brother in the chat said, we already had a rice. Y'all ain't had none of this. Where do we have relics of this at? We don't see this type of building until the Africans get here. We don't see this type of construction until Africans get here. Simply. And we talked about the cash crop of Carolina Gold's rice. 1750, as a slave trader, we learned that Lawrence made 40 to 50,000 pounds annually, creating a multi-million-dollar enterprise off the black labor. That's what we learn here. You're not going to learn this on no pseudo class. And let's not forget about the women and the kids that suffered doing all of this, producing these cash crops. We must not forget. And that's why I do my thing. And that's why we will continue to show. Did I get cut off? Sorry. That's why we do our thing. That's why I do my thing. And I will continue to show everybody this history, to show everybody the truth behind it. So that's what this is about. It's not about nothing else. It's about our history and being the custodians behind our history. All right. So again, if you found value in this video, go ahead and click that like button. All right. Go ahead and share this to somebody who did not know about rice technology. Share this video to somebody who didn't know that West Africans had their own domestication of rice. A lot of people didn't know. Share these videos with people who didn't know the difference between Oryza glamourima and Oryza stativa. The difference between Asian rice. Share this with somebody who did not know that we built tidal water irrigations. That's who needs to hear this information. Share this shit to kids who need to know. And I'll watch my language. But seriously, yo, the kids need to hear this stuff. As a parent, if you're a parent, if you got young kids in the house, and you know this history is not going to get told, they're not going to tell them about no tidal irrigation systems in school. Why would they? Why would they show them illustrations of them learning this stuff from us? They're not supposed to. They're colonizers and victimizers and shit like that. All right. So I'm going to leave y'all with that. Okay. I'm going to leave y'all with the memory of Black African women growing rice for their community and was stolen to do it over here in the Carolinas. Thank you for your time. I'll see you guys on the next one.